All right, Rabbi say one of these shailas that we have to deal with on the Heilige Yom of Tu Bishvat is the shaila of Shecheyanu. Not that there is an obligation, by the way, to find a fruit that is subject to Shecheyanu, but there is a minig of the Rebbes, where the minig of the Rebbes is they like to make a Shecheyanu. But again, very clearly, there's no obligation to look for a fruit that requires a Shecheyanu, and more often than not, I would assume that people are making Shecheyanu in the wrong context because they don't know the halachas and they assume that it requires a Shecheyanu and it actually doesn't. So it's a bit of a shame. So Lamaisa like this. Let's go through a little bit of the halachas. Like I said, we're being Mekatze. We're going through a summary of halachas that we could spend weeks on, but just for the sake of Tu Bishvat to have a little bit of an idea. But of course, it applies the entire year. Now, Chazal were mesaken that when you see a new fruit, you make a Shecheyanu. Note the word that I said, see. Okay? There is a Gemara in Erevin Daf Men. We did it in Daf Hayomi not that long ago. Can't be that long ago, right? It's only been a year, right? So within the year, we did a Gemara in Erevin Daf Mem Amud Beis, where the Gemara tells us, Ona akro chadata nami amina zman, of which we're all familiar to be the makar for making a Shecheyanu, of which the Gemara explains to us that when they used to see the new fruit, it was so geschmack. Wow, we get to see this new fruit. Here's a brand new fruit on the tree. That's gavaldik. And we may make a Shecheyanu on that. And that's what Rashi explains very, very clearly. The Rambam in Hilchos Brachos Perek Vav and others as well, that when they saw a new pumpkin, that's what the Gemara is talking about, they made a Shecheyanu in that case. Comes along the Rosh. And the Rosh says, and he brings Rashi. Rashi says, explaining the Gemara in Erevin Daf Mem, when they saw the pumpkin, they made a bracha Shecheyanu. Says the Rosh, the minig is to make the bracha Shecheyanu when you eat the fruit. And as I pass many of the Gedoli Rishonim, and as is the minig la'alocha la'maisa, which comes la'maisa from the Rosh. I guess interesting just to know, right? A trivia question for people. The makar of Shecheyanu is when you see the fruit, not when you eat it. The Rosh just told us that the minhag ha'olam is to make it when you eat it, not when you see it. Why is the minhag ha'olam that way? Where did it come from? So someone is saying, the smak, for example, they want to explain pshat, very simple. It's because we don't have the simcha anymore. We don't have a simcha when you see, wow, on the tree, that's gavaldik. You don't know the simcha. When you eat something, you get real physical hana from it. That's when you get the simcha. Memela, that's when the minhag came about to make the bracha Shecheyanu when you actually eat the fruit. They asked Rav Elyashiv, what happens if a person feels no simcha? Seriously, you have simcha? So I will tell you, there's a big nafkamina between Eretz Yisrael and Chutz La'aretz, right? And this is a big nafkamina halacha l'maisa that applies in many situations. For example, right? This is actually this is actually one of the. Last year I wasn't here; I was in LA. But normally I've often been in America, either on or right before Tu Bishvat. Kenai Nahara, what's going on over there? I normally bring back. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. I can get in trouble. No, am I allowed? I'm not allowed. I thought it's just meat. Into Israel. I'm going to get in big trouble. I can? I shouldn't say it. It's too late now, anyway. No, that's in America. That's to America. You sign that whole thing.
They don't stop you.
I don't think. Well. Someone's going to be listening from the government, and I'm going to be in big trouble. Anyway, whatever it is, I brought in fruit from some places in America. Can I know what goes on over there? It's unbelievable. I bought stuff my kids have never seen in their lives before. It's unbelievable. Here in Eretz Yisrael, you get oranges and apples. It's beautiful. It's mamash gavaldik, right? It's beautiful. Paris, Eretz Yisrael. It's Taki Gavaldik Shimon. Peretz Eretz Yisrael is beautiful. You don't get everything. So all of a sudden something comes in. You're like, wow, we get strawberries. Oh, you can't eat those, forget that. Oh, grapes, we get grapes. This is Gavaldik. We get in America, who doesn't get grapes the whole year? Here's Taka Simcha. You get grapes? Oh wow, you have grapes. Oranges just came in season. That's beautiful, right? We haven't got oranges for breakfast in the morning. Anyone even noticed that? We haven't had first squeeze orange juice. It's because you cannot get oranges. In Chutz La'aretz, you guys are spoiled. And you get everything all the time because they import and export from all over the world. Here in Eretz Yisrael, they want you to enjoy Peretz Eretz Yisrael. And therefore, they only have what they generally have. With a few exceptions, they pretty much have only that. So therefore, there is a simcha. But they ask Rav Elyashiv, what happens if I don't have a simcha? Do I make a Shecheyanu? So first of all, it's a Magen Avraham. The Magen Avraham says it's a light plug. It's a light plug. Chazal said that there is a simcha. And Rav Elyashiv Be'etzim said the same thing. That's a you problem. If you don't have simcha when you have a new fruit, you have a problem. Oh, but Chazal were masakin because they understood that Be'etzem there is a simcha. The Yerushalmi, we mentioned it a little bit 2 days ago. The Yerushalmi in Kedushin brings down, Mr. Brewer brings it, by the way, Sikkot and Yotes, that there's a mitzvah to eat from every new fruit that's mischadish every single year to show how much the Rabbanu Shalom gave us and to see the gadlus of the Rabbanu Shalom. Maybe by the Tu Bishvat Tish, maybe we'll discuss a little bit of the wonderful chesed that the Rabbanu Shalom does by creating such beautiful fruit for us. B'siyat Shmaya, we'll discuss that. Good morning. So, we have to continue and like this. We have to discuss a whole bunch of things. First of all, we have to discuss, is it a reshus or is it a chiyuv? Is it an obligation to make a Shecheyanu? Or it's a reshus, meaning you have a right to if you want to, that sort of thing. So the Gemara in Eruvin is mashma that it's only a reshus, right? And so pasuk in the Magen Avraham. The Mishnah Berurah says, Umikol mokim roi lizoy sheloi levatla. Don't be mevatel this beautiful bracha. The Aruch HaShulchan says when you see a new fruit, kiblu k'chayva, and therefore it's almost like an obligation. Okay, so that's the lashon of the Aruch HaShulchan. Now, what we have to discuss is very many different types of fruits and different shilas that come up. First of all, we have to discuss like this. What's the Seder Hadvarim? How does it work? You make the bracha on the fruit and then the Shecheyanu? Or you make the Shecheyanu and then the bracha on the fruit? Or you eat first and then make the Shecheyanu after making the bracha before you ate? Which way around is it? Anybody? I'm saying you've all made Shecheyanu in your life, right? So I'm assuming you know what to do, right? So what have you been doing until now?
Bracha then Shecheyanu.
Bracha then Shecheyanu? Yeah, is that pretty much what everyone... Yeah, Shimon Maskim to that one? Yeah. Okay, you Maskim to that one, okay. So, I want to tell you that Mishnah Berurah brings 3 shitas. Okay? Mishnah Berurah brings 3 shitas. Most Gedolei Poskim, including the Mishnah Berurah, the Heilige Chofetz Chaim, is first you make the Shecheyanu, then you make the ha'etz on the fruit. Okay? That's what the Mishnah Berurah says. That's what the Balatanya and Shulchan Aruch Harav. That's what the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch says. That's what the Chaya Adam says. That's what the Marshag says. The Aruch HaShulchan, the Chasam Sofer, the Ksav Sofer, the Heilige Shulchan HaTorah Minhag Kamarna. That you make the Shecheyanu first. Okay. However, the Minhag Ha'olam, and as I pass in the Maisa, the Aruch HaShulchan brings this down. And I have a Kabbalah from my Rosh Hashiva Rav Shaimek Zatzal, that whenever the Aruch HaShulchan says that something is a minhag, that's what we do. Because the Aruch HaShulchan was a Rav. Rav Moshe, by the way, also passed in this way, that when the Aruch HaShulchan said, that's why I'm so big into learning Aruch HaShulchan, because the Aruch HaShulchan was a Rav, and Rav Shaimek and Rav Moshe both said that if he said something is the minhag, we go with the minhag. And the Aruch HaShulchan is made that the minhag is like what Mordi said, and like what Shimon was maskim that Mordi said, and that was to make the ha'etz, and then to make the Shecheyanu, and then to eat, and as I paskin the Maisa, the Kafachayim, the Shalem Eshiv, the Marsham brings it in Das Torah, the Maisa Rab brings B'Shem the Vilna Gaon, the Chazon Ish paskin this way. You like that one, didn't you? That's gavaldik. Beautiful. Okay, so that is the Seder Advarim. By the way, the Mishnah Berurah brings a shita that says you make the 8s, you eat, and then you actually say the Shecheyanu. Right? I don't think anybody does that. But the Minhag Ha'olam is like we said. But it would be an example if a person by mistake got mixed up and he made the Shecheyanu and then he ate, or he made the Shecheyanu and then he made the bracha. There is definitely a mokum to be mekel. Now, let's move on to the various types of fruits that a person has to make a Shecheyanu. This is a very, very big problem because, again, Naftali, you're going to enjoy this one, right? These are one of the halachas that people don't know. Right? Baruch Hashem, so you came here, so you know. The Torah brings down in Siman Reish Chav Hei Sivov. Okay, and I'm telling you my mokum because this way you'll be able to quote it to anybody that says, huh? Reish Chav Hei Sivov. The Torah brings down that a fruit that's not mechadish from year to year, even if you have not eaten it within a year, in other words, it's been way longer than a year, you do not make a Shecheyanu. Okay, now I don't know why the world says not that way. The world says, if you haven't eaten the fruit in a year, you make a Shecheyanu. False. Not true. No such thing. The Torah brings down very clearly, the Beis Yosef brings a machlokes for showing him if it's mechadish twice a year, what din does that have? What does mischadish mean? Mischadish means it's a new crop. That means, for example, in Eretz Yisrael, you can always taste when the oranges are going a little bit out of season, they start getting a bit sour, they go a little bit hard, and then you wait a couple of weeks and bang, they come back into season again, right? There's a shayla if it comes twice a year into season. But pashtus, most fruits are once a year. So if that's the case, and there are more paskins this way, la'alocha lemaisa, and he says if it's machadish twice a year, you can still make a shecheyanu. Oh, but and the Maganavomings arrived from the Kehanim, they ate from the Menachos, and they made a shecheyanu, even though there were 24 mishmaros. 24 mishmaros means split it into two, they did it twice a year. Each Kohen did the avodah beis hamikdash twice a year, and yet they still made the shecheyanu. The Maganavomings arrived to the Ramah that you can make a shecheyanu twice a year. Now, if that's the case, only a fruit that's a brand new seasonal fruit, you can make a shecheyanu. I don't care when the last time you ate this fruit. Says the Ramah who brings the maril, what about vegetables? Do we make a shecheyanu on vegetables? Or only on fruit? What's a classic example? Avatiach, right? Watermelon. So the Ramah brings, and the Maisa, this is the Prisha says, only if it's a chosh of a thing, and this is how the Maganavon, the Mishnah Pascal, and the Maisa, who brings a Shlah Kodesh, he says that we don't make shecheyanu on vegetables, but some of the poskim say if it's a very chosh of a vegetable, and it's mischadish once a year, there is a mokum to be makel, and make a shecheyanu over there. Okay? So that will be a nafkamina to avocados, watermelons, and things like that, whatever it was. Now, let's move on, Rabbi Sai. Okay, let's move on to some of the shilas that come up. That's a good question. Strawberries, Efsha? Strawberries, if you can eat them. I don't know if you can eat strawberries. You can't eat strawberries?
You can eat them.
You can eat them? Yes. If the Rebbeinu created it, it means you can eat it. That's true. The question is, how? Like Mori always says, Chazal say such a... But then you have to understand what it means. There's Mori speaking like a London, Baruch Hashem. Okay. Okay. So, the general shaila is, first of all, you do not make shecheyanu on a dry fruit. So if you have a dry fruit, you do not make a shecheyanu on that. That's number one. Number two, this is a very big problem, by the way, when it comes to Tu Bishvat and it comes to Rosh Hashanah, which are the two times of the year that we try and make a shecheyanu, that they will bring in fruit from other countries. Like in Eretz Yisrael, they will bring in fruit from other countries. The biggest problem is how you making a shecheyanu on it. You haven't had it in a year, but where did it come from? It came from a place that it grows the whole year. I'll give you an example, coconut. Now, I don't know, let's say they get it from a place in Africa. So in Africa, a coconut grows the whole year. Oh, but they're only going to bring coconut around Tu Bishvat time. Does that mean you can make Shecheyanu? No. Why? Because it grows the whole year. It's not a seasonal thing. It's not something that grows from time to time. It grows the ganze year. Oh, but they only bring it into the country for a year. For this time of the year. You can't make a Shecheyanu on that. You know, so you've got to be very careful what do you make a Shecheyanu on, that this is a seasonal fruit. Before Rosh Hashanah, we're inundated with shilas of people kind of make a Shecheyanu, because the second day of Rosh Hashanah, you want to make a Shecheyanu in order, because you want to be not dafka on the Yom. According to the Gun, you can, but whatever, you're trying to make a Shecheyanu on the second day. So people want to know. Nobody wants to do an Aveira of make a bracha levatala on Rosh Hashanah, right? So we want to know, what can you make a Shecheyanu? You have to know this is a seasonal fruit. You have a suffix brachas la'achad, you don't make a Shecheyanu in that case. If you don't know that this is a seasonal fruit, don't make a Shecheyanu on that case. Okay? Now, Shecheyanu also means it has to be on something that is roy to eat. It has to be on something that's roy. If it has to be cooked, obviously you cannot make a Shecheyanu over there. Murkav, you cannot make a Shecheyanu on a grafted fruit. Right? What is a classic example of a grafted fruit? What? Don't want to say that too loud, do you, correct me if I'm wrong, a nectarine. Am I right? A nectarine is a mix between a peach and a plum. Am I right? It's true, no? So how can you make a Shecheyanu on that? You're not allowed to make a bracha on grafted. What's the pshat? Why you can't make a Shecheyanu on grafted? How can you say Shecheyanu v'kimonu v'giyonu lazman hazeh? You made this. Rebbeinu Shem didn't want this. You put it together. You made this. So you can't make a bracha Shecheyanu. Zug de be'alocha. That's only the daddy and the mummy. But this is already the einikol already. Right, this is so many generations after the first guy did it, you can already make a bracha on a grafted thing, and therefore there is no problem whatsoever over there. Now, okay, Rabbi said there's a lot to discuss over here. Blended. If something is blended, you no longer make a Shecheyanu because it's already considered to be, it's already lost its surah, and therefore it's considered to be make a shahakol in that case over there. If something is pickled or preserved, so or dried, or canned, or frozen, generally you're not going to be making a Shecheyanu on whatever that item may be. Okay, so that's pretty much the halachas that I wanted to discuss. Rabbi, I think the yesod over here is to understand is that when we eat a fruit and we get something that, Be'ez Hashem, tonight by the Tish, we'll be having some nice geshmak of fruits. We should give, we'll have some apples, Be'ez Hashem, we'll try to get some oranges, B'siyata D'Shmaya, and we should try to have shvach v'odot to the Rebbeinu Shalom for giving us such beautiful fruit. We'll talk about it maybe tonight, but just to understand, the Rebbeinu Shalom could have made us one type of fruit with one color, with one taste, and say, here you go, here's something healthy to eat. Oh, but no, the Rebbeinu Shalom decided to give us colorful, geshmak, different tasting, different looking, everything is different about every different type of fruit. And the way they made it so beautiful, it's an opportunity, Tu Bishvat, an opportunity to look at the fruit that the Rebbeinu Shalom gave us and say thank you to the Rebbeinu Shalom. Be'ez Hashem will continue. Have a wonderful, beautiful day.